Welcome back to Backpocket Game Reviews, guys, and today we are going to touch on Mr. Epic Conspiracy's second video here. So, worst GameStop employee ever. By the way, I am going to set a like milestone on this. If we can hit 1,000 likes on this video, I'll do a video in regards to his grammar Nazi video. For those of you who haven't been on his channel to see any of it, it has a swastika as the thumbnail. It's better than his GameStop videos, to say the least. Not like in production quality, but just in the content he would provide me in reaction on it. So if we can get to 1,000 likes, also if you want to follow me on Twitter or anything like that to give your feedback or even know what I'm up to or when I'm streaming, you can do so. All of it's linked in the description box below, along with my gamer tags on Steam, Xbox, and PSN. So here we go.
What's up, guys? EC here. I'm going to be doing another GameStop Exposed episode.
GameStop
Here's episode 2. I know it's a long time coming. I haven't got around to doing
It's like the porno version.
I've just been busy. So I went through a bunch of the comments and I got a bunch of questions people ask, and I'll just answer a few things today. I will have a
these
third
are questions
episode coming
people ask.
to answer more questions so these videos aren't too long. So one thing lots of people brought up is GameStop employees are always being annoying, bugging them, selling them stuff. Why is that? They're annoying, they're mean, blah, blah, blah. Well, the reason they do that is they will get fired if they don't sell you pre-orders and their stupid little rewards card with the magazine. They will get fired, and some, depending on what district you're going into, some of them, they'll start pushing like their scratch protection or warranties. I mean, it changes. Like on all the districts, they'll say, we have to start pushing this, we have to start pushing that. That's why they constantly push that on you. A lot of people wrote, it sounds like a cell phone sales job. Well, yes it is, and they're forced to push that on you.
We did have to sell cell phones temporarily. They were prepaid ones.
Ask if they get commission. They do not get commission on that shit. All it is job security, and if you're part-time, the more you sell, the more hours you get. So, I mean, that's just the way they do business.
So, yes, that is true to some degree. If you are a part-time employee, you're probably not going to lose your job over not hitting numbers. I mean, that wasn't really something we put on the part-timers. We kind of, as managers, took it upon ourselves to make sure that our numbers were going to be what carried the store. That doesn't mean, though, that there are a lot of managers who do expect that out of their part-timers to a huge extent, but it's really hard to expect someone who works 4 hours to maybe 8 hours a week to really put up numbers. I mean, you're probably not going to get promoted if you can't sell, but you're not probably going to lose your job if you can't. Again, I would kind of probably just say that now as a manager, yeah, you could get in trouble for not hitting your numbers. That is pretty common. District manager will get mad at the store manager if the store isn't hitting its numbers. It literally flows downhill. But we never normally put that kind of stuff on the regular employees. Most of them did get like 1 or 2 things a shift, which is really all we ever expected. But here we go.
A bunch of questions do GameStop employees keep pre-order bonuses? Like t-shirts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, if you pre-ordered something, they're not going to just take your pre-order bonus. You're going to get it. But the thing people don't know is they usually get tons of extra shirts and posters or whatever you get. We get way more than we had pre-orders. So we're supposed to give them out to just people picking up the game launch day, but that doesn't happen. The employees will take all of that shit. I remember, I think it was Gears of War 2, they came with these golden gun codes, where you put in the code and you got like a golden gun for multiplayer or something. I'm pretty sure it was Gears of War 2. Well, we probably got about 100, 150 more than we had pre-orders, and so, we took all of those, and then there was probably another 100 that didn't get given to people. They didn't ask for them. They pre-ordered them, and those got taken too, and they all got sold on eBay for $5 a piece. So GameStop employees everywhere is making $500 to $1,000 extra dollars selling these codes. So stuff like that happens. I mean, T-shirts. Yeah, I mean, we'll take every T-shirt there is. I have just a pile of gaming T-shirts. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it goes down the list. The store manager gets first dibs, and the assistant manager, and it just goes down the line. But yes, they will take every single extra thing. When you probably should be giving them out, but you don't get a lot of perks working there, so that's just a perk.
So that's also known as employee theft. Don't get me wrong, like, yeah, sure, you get one of them as well if you pre-ordered the game, just like the customer would. But no, it wasn't, hey, we cleared out all the pre-order exclusive stuff. I would give that stuff away at midnight releases. I would give it away to people who are just picking up the game, like, hey, we had extras. Yeah, that's employee theft. I would have fired him for that. If I were in charge of him, I would have fired him for doing that. Let alone, where are you finding the places to sell these that you're making that kind of money? Those golden gun codes? Seriously? They could have just pre-ordered the game and got it. Blown. Mind blown. But yeah, that's theft. Terrible employees do that. I do know certain stores where that did happen very commonly. But no, that's not how that was supposed to work. That's not even how corporate wants that to work. If corporate watched his video, that is theft. It's what it is. Not that I'm shocked he would do that.
Some other stuff people want to know is, like, do you guys really make fun of the customers behind the scenes? Because he came in and bought something and was leaving, and it sounded like they were making fun of him for something as he left the door. Yes, that happens. And it's just not the part-time employees. It's just not the managers or system managers. The district managers will actually make fun of people, too. Like, every Monday at like 3, 4 o'clock, there would be a conference call. And the first 5-10 minutes of the conference call is each store manager, the district manager will ask everybody, how's everybody doing? First 5-10 minutes is everybody just making fun of customers, for the first 5-10 minutes of the call. And the district managers will throw into that. So yes, they will. I mean, mostly it's just boredom. We're standing around a lot.
So I've been on plenty of conference calls in my day of working at GameStop, and never once have, when I was asked, how is everybody doing, decided that we're going to make fun of customers. My district manager would have fired me so fast if I would have sat there just making fun of customers. I don't know if it's literally just this guy or if literally his whole district is just full of people that are pieces of trash. But no, that's not what we spent our day doing. No, wrong. There are certain customers that, yes, they do get antagonized. It is not a frequent thing. And I shouldn't say antagonized because it's just like, was I seriously just asked that? And you will get that. I've had some really crazy questions, like the guy who tried to offer me $20,000 to sell him a copy of Call of Duty 3 days early. First off, I didn't believe he'd actually pay me $20,000 for it. But all I'm saying is, no, that is not a common thing unless the employee or the managers are just crap. He's stealing from the store, so he's blatantly taking stuff that should be going to the customers, and he's also blatantly just making fun of the customer. I would not hire this guy. If he came in and he wanted a job at Taco Bell, and I was the manager at Taco Bell, I wouldn't hire him. Especially not after watching his channel.
That's just the way it is. A lot of people, I go in there and they're like, you should bid a 360 or you should get a Sony PlayStation, blah, blah, blah. Are employees really biased towards systems? Yes. It depends on the store. pretty much each employee will be a big time fanboy because everybody that works at GameStop's play games, and they're either going to be all Xbox or all PlayStation. It's very rare that you'll come across an employee that'll get both. And yes, you'll get a lot of bias statements. So don't go into a GameStop and ask them which system I should buy, which game's better, because they're just going to tell you whatever they like best. I mean, I've seen full-blown arguments where the cops got called to the store because an employee was arguing with somebody which was better, Xbox or PlayStation. They take that shit serious. And some...
I wonder if the call-ups ever got called to the store because you were stealing. Maybe that's why he doesn't work there any longer. But, so... yeah, there are some people that are biased and they do have the direction they lean. Never have I once seen someone argue with a customer about that. Everyone has their preference. It's just sort of like having a political view. However, when he says most of the employees don't own both, that's actually completely false. Most of the employees that I worked with do have both. At least among the managers. I mean, most of the managers have both. And don't get me wrong, so here's, as an individual who isn't, like, overwhelmingly biased, like, most people who aren't him, I can tell you that the way you choose your console is, what are your friends on? It's priority one, because you're gonna want people to play with most of the time. Do you prefer multiplayer or single-player content? Because Xbox has a little more multiplayer exclusivity, and PlayStation has a little more single-player exclusivity. So it comes down to knowing what is it that separates the two? I'm sure he has no idea.
Employees take it more serious than others, ridiculous. So yes, they're very, 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 very biased. When I worked there, the PS3 and 360 was out, and pretty much everybody was Xbox.
Everyone
biased.
was Xbox biased.
Now with the new systems, I don't know.
My store was the opposite.
You always want to keep that in mind when you walk into a GameStop. A lot of people will ask for some funny stories. When you work in retail for that long, yes, you see some funny stuff. I remember one time, this little black kid came in with
this little black kid
grandma.
came in.
She had to be 90 years old. She's trying to buy something. He keeps grabbing something off the counter, and she grabs it back. He grabs it again. She grabs it back. She goes, don't do that again. He grabbed it again. She turned around and went, wham! I mean, backhanded this kid. He was probably 5. He fell on his ass, busted his lip open. I'm just sitting here like, oh, shit. Shit's going down. I didn't know what to do. Whoa. So she just paid for the game or whatever, and they left. I was like, oh, man.
So... kid falls and busts his lip because his grandma backhanded him. So I get it. To a lot of you, that might actually even be somewhat funny, but that is child abuse. Sorry, I wouldn't have laughed at that. There's a big difference between disciplinary beating and just BAM! Right to the face. That's not disciplinary anymore. A spanking or like a pop in the mouth for saying a word they shouldn't have said, fine. Backhanding them to where their lip gets busted open, but also to some degree a part of me just doesn't believe him that actually happened.
Another good story was this lady brought her kid in. He brought up NFL Blitz. It was when NFL Blitz came out. Blitz the league where you could hire like hookers, and send them to the other teams. I mean, it was a mature rated game. And he was probably 10 or 11 or so, and he's trading some games in. And he's like, can I get this? I was like, yeah. I was like, is it okay if you get to this mature rated? I'm not one of those annoying employees that goes through all the descriptions. And the mom asked me, like, why is it mature rated? And I was like, I was telling her I has hookers and stuff. She goes, no, we're a Christian family. He goes, I don't show him that stuff. I mean, he's probably going to be, 18 years old before he knows about that. We keep him away from that. So I'm looking through the games to trade in, open it up, and I noticed there's like paper in it, and I pulled it out, and I opened it up, and it's this paper of this girl with this giant ass just getting DP'd in her ass. And I was like, she's like, what's that? And I handed it to her. She flips out. She's like, where did you get this? Where did you get this? Flipping out on this kid. That was a pretty funny story.
Again, another story I really don't believe, because who literally has just a giant poster, paper, of some girl just getting DP'd? I'm not doubting that doesn't happen, but you know, if we're calling it a paper, he makes it sound like there's a stick figure drawing on it of a girl getting DP'd. Maybe I should make stick figure DP art.
Another pretty funny story is I was in there with another employee. It was like late at night. We were in like a dead store. No one came in the store like between 8 and 9 before we closed. So we ordered a pizza, and I ate mine. There was 2 pieces left, and we like in the back part of the store, the cameras couldn't see. We had like this little setup bin with games on it, so we put the pizza there and eat, so we can watch if someone came in. And this kid comes in, he's probably, I don't know, 16, 17. He came in and he asked for an application. And, he filled it out there in the store, handed it.
We're going to take a small hiatus on this. Eating well on the floor is also a big no-no. Clearly this guy has no kind of professionalism whatsoever.
And he's like, well, are you going to hire me? And we were like, oh, no, we'll have to call you back. We go through all of our applications. And so he starts walking around, and the other guy working there eating pizza, he's had one piece in his hand and there's one piece left in the box. And he walks up to him and he's like, man, I'm really hungry. Can I have a piece of that pizza? He's like, no, man, that's my dinner. He's like, man, I'm really hungry. Can I have a piece of that pizza? He's like, no, man. And he looks down at the pizza, and this kid just goes down, grabs it, takes a big bite out of it, and puts it back in the box. He's like, I'm sorry, man, I was just really hungry. And that guy just flipped out on him. I thought he was going to beat his ass. He grabbed his shirt. He goes, I'm throwing you out of the store. He goes, get out of here. And he really threw him out of the store. He walks back, and then the kid just opens the door up and sticks his head in and goes, does this mean I'm not going to get the job? Oh, that was pretty good.
Well, another story, I don't believe
I
it.
live in Cincinnati, so
Crazy.
I have run into some
Andy
sports
lives in the
stars.
same state as
The
me.
best one ever was Chris Henry. He was a Cincinnati Bengal wide receiver. He was really good, but he had, he was weird. He was messed up in the head. He had issues, and he ended up actually
He was
getting
messed up in the
killed
head.
like a
He
couple
knows
years
that from
into the
experience.
league. Well, I think it was the second year after he had his first big year. When the Wii's you couldn't get a Wii, and this Escalade pulls up, stops in our store. It's got the spinners. This tall, skinny black guy walks out. He walks in. And he's like, "Got any Wii's?" And he had like gold teeth and everything. I was like, "No, we're still." He goes, "Are you sure?" It's like, "Yeah."
Gold
So he
teeth
goes,
as well.
goes
So he had a
outside,
grill.
He comes back in. He opens the door and he sticks his head in. And he goes, I'm Chris Henry. You sure you don't have any Wii's? I'm like, oh, let me pull one out of my ass for you, Chris Henry. So that was just a few things I wanted to share to you. I will do a third video. Just leave some more questions in the comments, and I'll come up with some more stories. So until next time,
He never
guys,
made the
TC,
third video.
Signing out.
So he never made the third video that he claims he was going to make. I'm more disappointed in the fact that he lives in the same state as me. That's kind of depressing. He said he lives in Cincinnati. I live in Columbus. So we're both in Ohio. Yay! Makes me feel real proud of my state. He's also a New York Giants fan, which I'm sure will trigger some of you to some degree. But don't forget, guys, if we can get 1,000 likes on this, I will touch on his grammar Nazi video, and by God, is it good. Oh, man. Oh, my. But if you haven't already, be sure and subscribe. You can click that little bell if you want to get notified whenever I make some more videos. Yeah, plenty of more content coming for you guys soon. So hopefully this will hit the 1,000. His other video will be one I touch on. I have some other people that I may do these videos on, and if you really want me to respond to a video, go ahead and send it to me. All my contact information is in the description box down below, so you can send me a link to it if you'd like for me to check it out and think it would be a fun video for me to react to. But guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.